Hello everyone, today I am reviewing Evil Dead Rise, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed this experience. Now, it's been 10 years since we got an Evil Dead movie. I mean, we've had this show, and unfortunately got canceled after the 3rd season, but it's been a while since we had an actual movie, and in the last movie, it was like a remake of the original, and this one feels like a disconnected original take on the franchise and the Evil Dead formula, and I really liked it. You know, usually for any horror movie, the characters, you don't really care that much for them, or at least there's not too much of a connection between these characters. But in this one, it all involves like a whole family, and they're like kind of reuniting, or at least the sister characters reuniting with everyone. And yeah, you just feel a lot more. You really feel the connection between these characters in this movie compared to like the other Evil Dead movies. And when the Evil Dead hijinks happens throughout the movie, you really feel for what's going on and feel for like the terror that they're going through as everyone's getting possessed by the book. And of course, once again, someone finds the Necronomicon, and then he's like, oh, we gotta play that vinyl. It wouldn't be Evil Dead movie without it, right? Now, this franchise is known to have ridiculous amounts of gore. It wouldn't be an Evil Dead movie without the characters getting covered in blood. And I mean, like, their whole body is just painted in blood. It would not be an Evil Dead movie without that element in there. And this one, there's just that. And towards the end, there's also, like, inspiration from The Shining with blood coming out of the elevator. I'm like, that was a great reference. And, of course, the 2 classic weapons are acquired in this movie. We got the boomstick and the chainsaw. Wouldn't be Evil Dead movie without that either. We got some classic elements of the Evil Dead movie in here, and it works. I like that. And instead of it taking place of a cabin in the middle of the woods, this time it takes place in an apartment complex. And I really like the changing of the settings here, and of course the emotional components with these family members. So guys, not an overly unique horror movie, but definitely a unique Evil Dead movie, if you look at it as its own subgenre, which technically it's not really. I don't know. Now back to the gore elements. Now the remake had like more gruesome moments with its gore. Like, it was kind of hard to watch at some points. And with this movie, they tone it down a little bit. Let me correct there. There is one scene that happens in this movie that actually is pretty hard to watch now the more that I think about it. But I'm not going to spoil it. Once you guys watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But the difference with this movie is that there's more emotional depth to the gore that's happening. Like, you feel it, like, in a different way, I guess. Wait. Okay, that was an impression of a death scene from the movie. I hope that didn't spoil too much. Of course, all you guys know that there will be plenty of death going on in this movie, you know, obviously. But, I don't think this is a spoiler, but I'm just gonna say it anyways. So I know in the remake, there was like an after credit scene with Bruce Campbell saying, "Groovy." But, in this movie, there's really no hints that there's any connection to, like, the original trilogy. And I am perfectly fine with this movie not being connected with, like, the original trilogy or show, even though might be a chance that it is. Which, you know, I'm fine with, and I'm also fine with it being standalone. One highlight of this movie was Alyssa Sutherland's performance. That scene that I just reenacted was a scene done by her after being possessed by the book. And of course, many other people get possessed, but, you know, I won't go too deep into it. But yeah, no, her performance was complete standout. It was excellent, and I loved it. Yeah, but the performances in this movie were really well done. The concepts were pretty interesting. It was a great change of pace, change of location, and all of that. And I'll never look at elevators the same after watching this movie. Never. Now, one strange thing that happens in the final act is that there's like this monster thing that happens. There's like a monster that forms at the end of the movie, and without getting into too much detail, it's kind of cool how they like the cameras didn't really, you know, focus too much on it, because it just would have looked goofy. But you know, these movies are known for being goofy, so that's fine. I didn't have too much of an issue with it. I was kind of wishing for a more climactic final fight though, but at the same time, it was still very well executed. I still really liked the final fight. It was still bloody, it was still gruesome, and like the first scene from the beginning of the movie connects with the ending of the movie, because that first scene in the woods happens after the events of this movie. And it was really cool figuring that out at the end. So yeah, I really like how that was structured. Like, this is something that's going to keep going. And of course, obviously, there's probably going to be a sequel to this one, or maybe not. I guess we'll find out. Now, I gotta say, I gotta give this movie an A-. Really good time, a real emotional Evil Dead movie. Good scares in there, and some good subversions. And I just love how this was a great addition to the lineup of movies from this franchise. Now, the original movie has inspired me to make movies like that. You know, the goofy, campy horror movies, I've always wanted to make a movie just like the original. And that is what inspired me to make the Chase Gibson movies. Yeah, so can't wait to see more from this franchise. Now, before I go, make sure to review Chase's Shadow Part 1 and Part 2, and leave your thoughts in the comments down below in those videos. And thank you guys for watching.